Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. Here I am. What the fuck are you playing with? Mr. Interrupting my intro. Where are you even? What? There you are. What are you playing with? Ah! I will take care of that later. For some reason, a package of cold medicine that is empty that I did not throw out. Anyway, hello. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I apologize for being late, but here I am, at least finally here. And I have some interesting things to read to you. Two things to read to you, and then we get to learn about a spy from World War II, and then we have our lovely question period. And apparently, Pink Hollow showed me a clip on TikTok from, I think it was from yesterday, and it's pretty spicy. It seems pretty spicy. It seems like Polyev is pretty frustrated. So hopefully we can get to that and have some fun with that and see what that looks like. And go from there. It should be a very interesting stream. I'm sorry about that. I am fucking freezing. I don't even know why. It's nice out. The sun is shining. It's not like super hot, but it's not winter. And yet I am a little chilly, and that's why I'm wearing a big bulky hoodie that is not at all flattering, but I'm still goddamn cold. Oh, stupid cookie preference message. Okay. Just had to close that up. Let's see, what else do I... Okay. I'm just trying to get to the correct place in this webpage that is full of advertisements. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The amount of frames and advertisements and silly elements on this webpage. Okay. We seem to have everything pulled up. Okay. Oh, except for Twitch chat. That's the one thing I didn't pull up. Silly me.
When I look at these guys, as far as what you asked me about, what is my opinion about economies during times, I have to look at the overall, the international, the whatever. You know,
what else was I going to say? I had something that I even wanted to talk about for my cold open. And of course, now it's gone. It is gone. Completely disappeared from my brain. Because of course it is. Okay. I apologize for this completely unprofessional stream that is going on so far. But let's carry on. So, let's take a look at this true crime story that we have here. From, I think it's Brad Hunter. I think his name is Brad. His last name is Hunter. And he is the crime reporter for the Toronto Sun. Hunter, so that's the name of the thing. Cops gutsy child porn sweep turns up familiar faces and frustrations. Oh boy. Familiar faces, huh? Anybody we recognize? if the faces are familiar, how familiar are they? Tell us, Mr. Hunter. Is considering the Kendrick Lamar beef and Drake going on, is Drake among them? Massive effort, heart and tears went into a sweeping child pornography and sexual exploitation probe that spanned Ontario, but what will be the end game? What will be the end game? I hope a whole bunch of jail time, regardless of whoever it was. Seriously. I'm sick of people who are in the spotlight or famous for something just getting slaps on the wrist. You know, oh, you get like several years of house arrest. Or, you know, you get several years in this minimum security super ritzy prison. Yeah, it's like, what? Do you understand what they've done? Like, on Wednesday, the OPP announced that Project Aquatic, interesting name for a child pornography ring, resulted in 64 arrests with 348 charges laid in connection to the far-reaching probe. Holy shit. 64 people arrested. That is insane. Insane that first of all, that many people are involved in this child pornography ring where people are exploiting children. Like, I get that children have always been exploited, and it's always been something that we've had to fight against and protect, right? But it just feels like so many more things are happening, and it just feels so I don't even have the correct words for it. It just feels like, I don't know if maybe because we have the internet and we have the ability to access reports of this from different areas more. I don't know if it's just that we know of it more often, but it just feels so much, it just feels so much bigger, if that makes sense. And it's really scary as a parent, because you have to juggle keeping your kids safe from these monsters, and you also, on the flip side, have to get them ready for the world and make sure that they don't become agoraphobic and keep them, interested in going outside and doing fun things and being independent as they grow up. It's a hard balance between being a parent that doesn't want to bubble wrap your kid and protecting your kid from these insane people. Excuse me. Cops say the effort, combined with police services across the province, was launched in February and spawned 100 separate investigations targeting online child pornography and sexual abuse. Good for them. Good for them. Do more. In addition, 34 child victims were identified, and another 30 were, quote, safeguarded. What does that mean? Does that mean, like, it could, well, that, I guess it could mean anything from a visit to the parents to say, hey, this is what we found in our investigation. Did you know your kid was talking in this manner to this type of person? Do you need some internet safety courses? Two, up and into including, like, protection. Hey, Aircraft Sparky! You bought a bass a couple of weeks ago. Nice. I locked myself out of the house this morning, but I yesterday and the day before I did my days of my 20 minutes. I'm gonna do my 20 minutes of guitar after the stream and before I go my counseling appointment. So that's my plan, because every day I'm trying to relearn the guitar. I'm doing strumming patterns right now, which it makes a lot of sense. And as I'm learning the strumming patterns, I'm recognizing the different strumming patterns that of my favorite songs. It's really cool. I find it really fun. This should all be good news until you realize that the penalty for sexual crimes against children in this country are a joke. In short order, convicted perverts swing through Canada's revolving door justice system and return to live on your street once again, poised to exercise their vile depravity. Yeah, well, thank you, Justin Trudeau, for the oh, nice. You saw the Facebook post. Nice. So yeah, the Justin Trudeau's new criminal justice system basically is that catch and release shit that you heard about from New York. It's like, and these are dangerous people. These are like carjackers, assault with weapons. Just it's insane. So these children, these child predators are now a part of that catch and release nonsense. Quote, "We are working tirelessly to continuously apply pressure to those who seek to harm our children." OPP Deputy Staff Sergeant Tim Brown told reporters, quote, "These dangers are not confined to the shadowy corners of the internet. Predators go where children go." Yeah, so stop letting your kids on fucking TikTok. And fucking any social media. Like, holy shit. Oh, it says that my child can go on it if they're 13. And, even if they're not 13, I'll just sign up for them. I trust my child. Okay? I don't trust anybody on the internet to be around my kid. I'm sorry. Even the best intended adult, no, kids don't belong on the internet. The oldest person on the accused pedophile roster is 89. The youngest is 16. They come from across the province encompass a wide array of cultural backgrounds and are educated in business and are educators and businessmen. Yeah. Because you can literally be anybody and be a pedophile. Even a woman can be a pedophile. So, seriously. Oh, look. It even says in this next line, there's even a ladies' auxiliary of 2 in the accused group. But women can't be pedophiles. Fuck you. Yes, they can. Women are just as capable of being depraved and evil as men are. So, just, oh my god, the amount of female serial killers, the amount of female con artists, like, holy shit, the amount of just, ugh. None of the charges for the Project Aquatic accused have been proven in court, which means they will be allowed to have bail. There is 42-year-old Cameron Ivins of Milton. He was an educational assistant at Fort Halton Region Schools. At 4 Halton Region Schools. And he also gave private piano lessons to children in their homes. Lovely. So he practiced his trade in their homes, where they should feel safe. Fucking just lovely, just beautiful. How absolutely gentlemanly of this man. String him up by his balls. Ivins has been charged with numerous counts, including sexual assault, making child pornography, voyeurism, possession of child pornography, and exposure to persons under 16. Tyler Pennells, 26, of Etobicoke. Not to be outdone, the Toronto Catholic District School Board has educational assistant Tyler Pennells, 26, of Etobicoke. Pennells is currently on leave. Just on leave. I understand that you're innocent until proven guilty, but if you get charged with child porn and possession of child porn and anything of that nature, you should not be just put on leave if you work at a school. That's just, I'm sorry, no. Which would you prefer to be alone with, or which would you prefer to be around in the woods alone? A bear or a random man? I'll take the random man any fucking day of the week. I'm sorry. Especially because bears can smell women that are, like, menstruating and shit, and that, no. I'm good. According to cops, Pennells was arrested and charged with 2 counts of luring a child under 16 years and 1 count each of invitation to sexual touching and transmitting sexually explicit material to a person under 16. Cops suspect there may be more alleged victims. this is just fantastic, isn't it? Just amazing. Educational assistants and piano teachers. Oh, look, another one. This is a picture of another lovely gentleman. William John. William John, 29, of Toronto, was arrested earlier this year for allegedly placing cameras in the bathroom of 2 downtown Toronto coffee shops to clandestinely record female patrons in their most private moments. On that beef, he was hit with 5 counts of voyeurism, making child pornography, and possessing child pornography. Jesus. So that was earlier this year. He was he was also busted in September 2023 after detectives were tipped off that a child porn was allegedly being accessed and stored and shared at a Midtown location. In that case, John was charged with making available child pornography, possession of child pornography, and accessing child pornography. What a lovely man! Just a fantastic collection of people. Oh, look, another guy. This guy, Neil Khan, was 44, and he's charged with possession of child pornography, accessing child pornography, making available child pornography, and failure to comply with a prohibition order. Several of the accused are also charged with breaching conditions. Take Neil Khan, 44, of Richmond Hill, and William Stinkay, 64, of Oshawa. Of course his name is Stinkay and he's from Oshawa, because it's a Stinkay city. Just like Cornwall. For Stinkay, this is his second alleged breach. He was busted by Durham cops in 2020 as part of a different probe into, quote, repeat child pornography offenders. At that time, Stinkay was hit with 20 counts of accessing 20 counts of accessing, 14 counts of possessing, and 4 counts of distributing. Jesus. And this is his second breach. Just lock him up. Seriously, just lock him the fuck up. Lock all, like, if these people are second and third offenders, holy shit. In their most private moments, how nasty can one be? What is attractive about someone relieving themselves? I don't know. Potty files are gross. They really are. They really, really are. Aircraft Sparky. I don't understand the whole, like, the whole fecophiliac thing. I don't get it. It's weird. Oh, look! Here's a female. Where is it? I fucked up. There we go. Oops. It refreshed and put me to the top of the page. That's not helpful. But I wanted to read about the lady. Well, I shouldn't call her a lady. I wanted to learn about the gross bitch. Where's that Sheena chick? There we go. Waving the flag for the fairer sex is Sheena Smith, 38, of Smiths Falls. Oh, up near Ottawa. Can't forget the eastern regions of Ontario. She had been busted earlier for allegedly trying to hook up with another adult to, quote, sexually exploit a child. That's not all. She's been charged with making child pornography and a host of other related charges. That's a chick. 'Cause, again, everyone says chicks can't be pedophiles. Well, behold Miss Smith. While the accused are innocent until proven guilty, the recent history of Canadian sentencing for such crimes offers us a chilling reminder, and that is the recent history of Canadian sentencing for such crimes offers us a chilling reminder, and that is how unseriously this country takes sex crimes against kids. Yeah, it's true. It's not just the crimes against kids, it's the violent crimes. It's the violent thefts and violent carjackings. You're even seeing kids under 13 posted on YouTube Shorts. Yeah. Because, and that's what I mean, get everything off, get the kids off of social media. Get the kids off of TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Facebook, and parents, stop posting your kids. Like, that's the other thing. It's not just the parents that let their kids, it's not the parents that just give their kids an account and then don't police what they're watching or doing, okay? It's also the parents who are taking pictures and videos of their very, very young kids, or even their slightly older kids, and then posting them. And then millions of people are viewing these messages or these posts. And like those moms that take videos of their kids in the bathtub and then post them up, and like it's weird. It's weird. Don't do it. Or the parents who have disabled kids that post the videos, oh, this is what I go through when my autistic child has a meltdown. Oh, poor me. And they're filming their kid and posting it on the internet. And it's like, dude, your kid's already having a meltdown and feeling absolutely horrible. And your response is to grab a camera and film them? Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? And then you wonder why all these predators like, these predators must feel like it's a bonanza with all these idiotic parents posting all this shit of their kids and then letting their kids go play, fucking Roblox and Fortnite and all this online gaming by themselves without any supervision. And then they're like, how did my child get preyed on? Well, you've been providing predators with the fodder since before they were online. Then you let them online by themselves without providing them any sort of internet safety knowledge. You don't even have internet safety knowledge because you're out there making your name, your username everywhere you go, your first and last name with your birth date at the end of it. Fuck, man. Get normies off the internet. Seriously. Get normies off the internet and it'll be better. And then ban children. Ban children from the internet. Until they're 18. I'm serious. I can't deal with, I just, kids on the internet, just no. And then the way that they act, right? Because of the way their parents act, they think that they can just say and do whatever the fuck online because it's online, right? They're just behind a keyboard. So they can do and say whatever the fuck they want and they think it's funny. Because that's what their parents do. And it's sad. Okay. So before we get into the political stuff, we're going to learn about a limping lady who is a spy. I have never heard of this woman. And this is something that Driving Ape sent me. And this guy is a much more entertaining historical video guy than that Disturbing History. And you'll tell by his voice right away. I think this is the Fat Electrician. So let's see.
I don't have a daughter, but if I did, this is who I would want her to look up to. Today we're talking about Virginia Hall, aka the Limping Lady, probably the most effective American spy of World War II, and she managed to do that with one leg. But first, a word from our sponsors. This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. If you've been on the internet liable and his back hurts, and head over to ridge.com/TFE and shop the holiday sale, you're going to save up to 30% Baltimore. She grew up in a really well... Let's get back to the video.
Okay.
All right, Virginia Hall, born in 1906 in Baltimore. She grew up in a really wealthy family and was a complete tomboy the entire time, and her father absolutely loved it. He taught her how to hunt, and he completely endorsed her being not very ladylike all of the time.
I love it. I love it. So many times you hear about girls born back then and they're completely tomboys and their parents are like, no, you must be a lady. No, no, no. Like, I was told stories about my grandmother because I never got to meet her, but I was told stories that by my mom that she wasn't allowed to wear dungarees because dungarees were for boys. But I don't know if I believe all of what I've been told. I think she would probably have let her wear pants without a fight.
In addition to being a tomboy, she was also highly intelligent, graduating from high school with ease and getting accepted into the top female colleges in the country.
Nice.
Her mother, on the other hand, had different plans because immediately after high school, she expected Virginia to get married to a young man from another wealthy family in the area so they could combine their family businesses. So she gets engaged to this guy at 18 years old. Fast forward 1 year, she's 19 years old and she keeps catching her fiance cheating on her, so she calls off the engagement and runs off to college despite her mother's wishes.
Good girl. Good girl. Why would you put up with that shit? Why would you put up with being cheated on when you're smart enough and young enough to go to college and get educated and you've at least got one of your parents' support? Like, there's no reason for you to stay.
She immediately attends the top 2 female colleges in the country, Radcliffe and Barnard, which are the equivalent
wow.
of Harvard and Columbia. She studies economics and foreign languages, deciding that she wants to become an American diplomat. She wants to live in an embassy and represent the United States of America. However, this is the 1920s, and the odds of a female landing that job are slim to none,
Yeah.
but she wants to maximize her chances, so she learns as many foreign languages as possible. She becomes
for her.
fluent in German, Italian, and French, and finishes college abroad, studying in Germany, France, and Austria.
God damn, look at her go. Holy shit. Fluent in German, French, and Italian. That's awesome. Now, they all have French and Italian for sure have the same Latin backing, but that's still like to be fluent in 4 languages, because English, right? English, French, Italian, German, English, French, Italian, and German. That's pretty good. I would say that's very, very impressive.
While finishing college in Europe in the late 1920s, she would bear witness to the birth of fascism and the rise of the Nazi Party, and have a better understanding of how dangerous that ideology was than 99% of Americans. She would return home in 1929. A few months after that, the stock market would crash, the Great Depression would start, and her father, a wealthy business owner, would lose almost everything, and the increased stress would lead to him having a heart attack and dying.
Gee, it's a good thing she didn't do what her mom wanted her to do and merge those family businesses, huh? I mean, it really sucks that her father passed away, because that was her only support system. But it looks like she made the right call.
This made Virginia even more determined to accomplish her goal of becoming an American diplomat, so she got a job working for the U.S. Embassy in Poland as a secretary. She worked there for several years, and every year she would apply for a promotion to become a U.S. diplomat, and every year something went wrong. The first year, they lost her application. The second year, her application made it through because she delivered it herself, and she was a shoo-in. She could speak 4 languages, she was a college graduate, she was highly intelligent, well-spoken, so she passed the application portion of the hiring process and had to have an in-person interview, and conveniently, they accidentally told her the wrong place and the wrong time to be, so...
Oh, gee, yeah, how inconvenient. Oh my god, they totally did that on purpose. Seriously, they totally did that on purpose. I would not doubt that for 1 second, that they were like, oh, this woman thinks she can be a diplomat. Let's just tell her the wrong place and time.
So she got disqualified again. Realizing that that embassy had it out for her and was not about to let a woman become a diplomat, she transferred to a different embassy in Turkey. So now it's 1933, she's living in Turkey, she's working as a receptionist at the embassy still, and she's just waiting for that next opportunity to apply to become a diplomat. One of her hobbies at this point in time is to go out hunting with the shotgun that her father had bought for her when she was a kid. It's an irregular hobby for a woman, but Virginia's an irregular type of woman. So
that's awesome. She still has her childhood shotgun. That's awesome. And that would be like a really good memory for her, because now that her father has passed away, that's like going hunting with dad. With, bringing the shotgun that dad bought you when you were a kid. It's just like going hunting with dad. That's awesome.
So she goes out hunting with her friends one day, and they're hunting for snipes, which if you don't know is this little tiny bird. Apparently they're really hard to hit, and this is where the term sniper comes from.
Oh, okay.
In time to save her life. One point she has to hop over out hunting with her friends one day, and they're hunting for snipes, which if you don't know is this little tiny bird. Apparently they're really hard to hit, and this is where the term sniper comes from. Regardless, at one point she has to hop over a fence. She forgot to turn the safety on her shotgun and accidentally blew her own foot off.
Ooh, fuck, that sucks.
Luckily, her friends were there, and they managed to pick her up, get her to the hospital in time to save her life. While she's in the hospital recovering, she would end up getting gangrene, which is a very, very serious type of infection, especially back then in the 1930s, because antibiotics weren't going to be widely used or available for another decade.
That's true, because they were just fucking around with the mold at that point, and antibiotics were in their infancy. That's true.
I mean, the doctors back then are basically just grunts with scalpels, so they come over to Virginia. They're like, hey, here's the deal. You're gonna die. There's one chance that we can save you. Basically, my medical opinion is your leg is pissed off and it's trying to kill you. My strategy is I'm gonna kill it first. I'm gonna cut it off and throw it away. So
I love how you describe that, dude. That's too funny. Oh my god. Oh my god. cut it off and throw it. I'm gonna kill it first, cut it off and throw it away. That's too funny. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Okay.
So that's what they do. She gets amputated from the knee down. Later in her life, she would admit that while she was recovering in the hospital, her father had come to her in a dream and told her that she had to get through this because she had important work to do. So that's what she does. She makes a full recovery, gets a wooden prosthetic, learns how to walk again, and goes right back to trying to be an American diplomat. However, you gotta remember, she's a complete tomboy, and what's the first thing a dude does when he gets a new car, a new set of wheels, a new gun? He always gives it a name, right?
She named her leg.
Right. Virginia named her wooden leg Cuthbert.
Cuthbert! I love it! I love it! Cuthbert the peg leg. That's awesome!
So she goes back to work and continues trying to become a diplomat. However, now they have a legitimate reason to not let her become one. They don't need to lose her application. They don't need to give her the wrong dates and the wrong times anymore, because apparently there was a pre-established rule that amputees were not allowed to become diplomats. Why?
That's ableist.
I have no idea, but it turns out that Virginia has now both literally and figuratively shot herself in the foot.
Aww.
Virginia, being the badass that she is, though, isn't about to take no for an answer, so she begins lobbying to have the rules changed altogether. She doesn't have much success. Fast forward 1940, Germany invades France, and Virginia is like, fuck it, I'm gonna go be an ambulance driver and help out the French because I hate Nazis. And
Good for her!
that's exactly what she does. Virginia, a 35-year-old woman that was physically unfit to be an American diplomat where she would have to sit in an office and talk to people, is now on her way to France to be an ambulance driver in an active war zone. So she...
Well, yeah, because, you know, screw disabled people. We don't actually know what we're doing. Oh my god. I hate this shit. Even back then.
She's an ambulance driver all throughout the Battle of Paris, and she is one of, if not the first Americans to actually stand up and fight against the Nazis. After France falls, she has to flee, so she hops on a train and makes her way over to Spain. While she's at the train station, she meets a British intel officer, and she tells him her story. This guy is so impressed that he's like, hey, take this phone number, call my friend. He can probably help find you a job over in England if that's where you want to go. So she calls the number looking for a job, and that number puts her in contact with a man by the name of Nicholas Boddington, one of the head guys of the newly formed British SOE. SOE standing for Special Operations Executive, which is just the new spin-off of Great Britain's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, aka their equivalent of the CIA. So
MI5.
She talks to them, and they pretty much immediately...
It's MI5, right? I think it's MI5.
Immediately want her to be a spy. She speaks German, she speaks French, she's lived
The living spy!
in France, she understands the culture, and most importantly of all, she's an American. And this is important because that means she can use her actual American identity and all her real documentation to give to the Germans to get into France.
She doesn't have to be...
Virginia immediately...
She doesn't have to have a cover. She doesn't have to have anything. Because she's not... Like, America's not part of the war yet. She's... Yeah, that's perfect. They don't have to have her remember a cover. Nothing. That's awesome.
Immediately agrees and goes into training for the next 6 months, learning everything there is to know about espionage, or at least as much as she can in that amount of time. Fast forward 6 months later, mid-1941, Virginia Hall, the spy, gets dropped off in Vichy, France. Which, if you don't know, at this point in time, France is split in two. There's occupied France, and then there's unoccupied France, also referred to as Vichy, France. Now, Vichy, France is technically supposedly
Vichy
free, but
doesn't
pretty
sound
much
very
everybody
French.
knows that it's a puppet state for the Nazis at this point. And Hall's job is to go in there posing as a journalist for the New York Post, build a spy network, and do anything she can to fuck with the Nazis.
Okay, that is cool. So the only cover she has is I'm a journalist from the New York Post. That's awesome.
Again, just so we're on the same page, this isn't like the movies where she has like instructions to go meet with some guy that's her connection and she like integrates with this already existing spy network. No, she was the first spy to go in. She had to go in and build the network from scratch. They literally took Hall, a 35-year-old woman with a wooden leg, gave her some money and some cyanide pills in case she got caught, sent her into enemy-held territory and was like, fucking figure it out. So
yeah, Here's some cash. Here's your insurance policy in case you get caught. I really hope you don't get caught. But here you go anyway. Off you go. Have at it.
So Hall shows up in Lyon, France, and she doesn't even have anywhere to stay. All the hotel rooms are full, all the houses are rented. So many people have been displaced from the war, there's nowhere for her to stay. So when she first gets to France, she ends up living with a bunch of nuns at first. And she had a curfew.
Oh, God.
Then after a couple weeks, she finally gets a hotel room, and that's where she sets up her headquarters and makes
convent.
her first contact. She goes straight to the U.S. Embassy and tries to get their help. And the head of the U.S. Embassy is like, absolutely not. America's neutral. We want nothing to do with it. But
yeah, because I'm not going to say it.
the second in command of the American Embassy pulls her aside and he's like, yes, I'm willing to help. And this is really important
awesome.
because this is the only way she's going to be able to communicate with London. You see, because it's an embassy, they have a diplomatic bag. So it's going to be mail that's not being screened by the Nazis before it goes out. So
That's true. That's true, because otherwise everything she would send would be apprehended. And then she would be absolutely screwed.
If this guy's willing to slip her messages to London into the diplomatic bag, it's going to be the only way that she's going to be able to get communication outside of France. So she gets it done. She establishes a connection. She now has a way to communicate with the outside world. On to the next order of business. Go see the gynecologist. Not for her, for the Nazis. You see, she has a two-pronged attack method that she's going to use to wreak havoc on the German ranks. Step A, recruit a gynecologist. Step B, recruit a brothel owner.
What the fuck? Recruit a gynecologist and a brothel owner? Okay. Where is this going?
All right, so here's the plan. She gets this gynecologist to start working with her by the name of Jean Rosette, and then she gets this brothel owner by the name of Germaine Garand to start working with her. And the plan she works out is the brothel owner is going to send all of his employees to this particular gynecologist, and he's going to sort out the ones that do not have STDs and the ones that do have STDs, and he's not going to treat them, but he's going to give them a clean bill of health, and then the brothel owner is only going to let those ones sleep with the Nazis.
Ha 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 ha! You're gonna purposely give the Nazis the clap? That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
So already Hall is establishing herself as a diabolical mastermind. I mean, she's conducting biological warfare, weapons of mass destruction, if you will. All the other spies are out here worried about intercepting mail and sending secret messages, and she's over here destroying the German ranks from the inside out and making them enjoy it while she does it.
Yep. It's like the infected blankets all over again. It's like, oh, would you like some sex? Yes, I would like some sex. Oh, God, why do I feel so bad?
And the scary part is she's just getting warmed up. You see, now she starts sending messages back to London through that diplomatic bag, asking for supply drops in the countryside, and she gets them. They're dropping off guns, explosives, and she's going around giving that to these guerrilla fighters that are just doing anything they can to fight the Germans, and she's...
I need guns and shit. Okay, here you go. Not any, what do you plan on doing with them? No, just here.
Also getting money to bribe officials and heroin. Yeah, the second part of her prostitute attack on the German ranks is that after the employees have already given the Germans an STD,
get them hooked on heroin.
Attempt to get them addicted to heroin. I mean, the Germans get all this credit for developing their brilliant blitzkrieg tactic during World War II, which translates to lightning war. I'm going to go ahead with whatever authority I have, and I'm going to dub this the brothel krieg tactic in honor of Virginia Hall, because...
The brothel krieg. I love it. First we get them sick, then we turn them into addicts. And the German commanders will not know what happened. They'll be like, what the fuck is wrong with my men?
Hello, now, son, wake up mood. How did you feel when you woke up? Circle the tab on notification. Hello, now, son.
Oh my God, this is awesome. This is amazing. I love this.
Because this is brilliant. So this keeps going for months and months, and she develops more and more connections and builds this enormous spy network that is officially given the code name Heckler. And every month, more spies are coming in, and she's helping them get set up. And these new spies know how to send wireless transmissions. So now there's other ways of getting messages outside of France.
So now we don't need the diplomat
these
bag.
wireless transmissions can get tracked by the Nazis, and a lot of these new spies are getting caught that way. So then fast forward October 1941, all the other spies, there's like 12 other ones in the area right now, and they decide decide they're going to have a big meeting. Basically, they're coming up with an excuse to get together and have a party and actually talk about all the cool stuff they've been doing, which is a huge mistake for a spy, so
Yep.
Virginia avoids it. Sure enough, all 12 spies get busted and captured, and this was known as the Marseille Mousetrap, where the German Gestapo captured 12 spies all at once.
Well, yeah, because you're all gonna... Why would you all gather together in one spot and be like, hey guys, aren't we all being awesome spies with all the spy stuff we're doing? Look at all the spying we're doing, you guys. Oh, yes, this spy stuff. It's like, Jesus Christ. Of course they got caught.
They captured all the wireless operators, and again, Virginia is basically the only spy on the ground, and she is the only spy still capable of getting a message out to London. So she sends a message out to London basically saying that everybody else has been captured, nobody else is going to be able to communicate except for her. In addition to that, the German Gestapo also now know what she looks like and have drawings of her, and they know that she walks with a limp, and they're starting to call her the Limping Lady. So
They've identified her, and they're calling her the Limping Lady. The Limping Lady.
So she is effectively number one on the Gestapo's most wanted list, and leading the
Lovely.
Gestapo in Lyon at this point in time is Klaus Barbie, one of the most brutal Nazis of World War II.
Oh, good. Good. We've got the baddest Germans looking for her.
And he is quoted as saying, "I would do anything to find that limping Canadian bitch." End quote.
He's not that limping Canadian bitch.
Saying, "I would do anything to find that limping Canadian bitch." End quote. He believed that she had to be Canadian because he didn't think any American could speak French so fluently.
That's funny. That is funny as fuck. That's hilarious.
Buongiorno.
London then responds by saying, "Hey, that's terrible, A, but also go ahead and flee, get out of the country, they're gonna find you. They know what you look like, they know that you walk with a limp, and every time you take a step with your hollow wooden leg, there is a distinct wood noise. They're gonna catch you." Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but to this, Virginia basically said, "Hold my leg and watch this shit." Rather than flee, she...
Hold my leg and watch this shit. God, I love the way he describes this. It's awesome.
Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but to this, Virginia basically said, "Hold my leg and watch this shit." Rather than flee, she decides that she's going to orchestrate a jailbreak of the other 12 spies that have been captured. But she's playing it on hardcore mode because the Germans know that they're looking for the Limping Lady, and every time she takes a step with her hollow wooden leg, it makes a wood noise. And then her plot armor activates and divine intervention kicks in.
Her plot armor. I love the way he describes
Because
this.
supplies into France are so low and so scarce that they're no longer getting rubber and leather to make shoes out of anymore, and people have to start carving their shoes out of wood, and all of a
Like
sudden,
the Dutch.
everybody's walking around making wood noises, completely disguising her movements. So rather than fleeing the country, she tracks down the prison that the 12
That's
spies are
great.
being held at.
So
then
everyone's
finds
wearing
somebody that works
clogs,
at the
which
prison,
means they all
convinces
sound
them
like
to
her.
give her a roster of the prisoners, uses that to track down a different, completely unrelated prisoner's wife on the outside, befriend her, and convince her to help her. Virginia, not
Wow.
wanting to be seen herself because they know what she looks like, decides that she's going to have this other prisoner's wife start smuggling in supplies to the 12 spies and, by extent, this woman's husband. Like they're baking handcuff keys and screwdrivers into cakes and shit to smuggle these supplies in.
awesome.
And this goes so well that she decides she's really going to start showing off. She's going to try to smuggle in an entire wireless set into the prisoners. And the wireless set is like the size of a briefcase. So she gets a 70-year-old priest that's a double
How do you
amputee
get a
from World War
wireless
I
set
to smuggle
into-
this briefcase in by sitting on it in his wheelchair, and he ends up giving the size of a briefcase. So she gets a 70-year-old priest that's a double amputee from World War I to smuggle this briefcase in by sitting on it in his wheelchair, and he ends up giving it to the other spies that actually know how to use the equipment.
That's awesome. No one's gonna search the wheelchair, dude. Send it in with him.
Aircraft Sparky. Potty from at checkpoint input. Check.
I love this. I love this. This is great.
Here's the thing, the spies on the inside needed a really big antenna to make this thing work, so they ran a wire from their cell into this, like, wireless setup outside, across the yard, and attached it to the boundary fence, using the entire fence as an antenna.
How did they the Nazis not notice this was happening?
and somehow never got caught. So now the spies are transmitting messages from inside the prison directly to London. So fast forward like a month, Virginia has smuggled these guys everything they need to be able to break out from the inside, and once they get outside the boundary fence, she is going to be there to pick them up, get them to a safe house, and smuggle them out of the country. Everything is completely arranged. Then on the day of the jailbreak, Virginia makes sure that somebody else tries to smuggle in a bunch of booze to the prisoners, knowing that they would get caught and that the guards would end up drinking all the alcohol that night, making it easier for the spies to slip away.
Smart. That's to make sure the guards get drunk so that they will, so that they'll be dead to the world when they leave.
Which is exactly what happens that night. All the guards are drinking, partying, having a good time, and while that's going on, the spies are utilizing the handcuff keys and all the tools Virginia smuggled in to escape. They run across the yard under the cover of night, scale the perimeter fence, and waiting there is Virginia, who immediately takes them to a safe house. They hide for 2 weeks straight while the entire Gestapo is searching everywhere for them.
They're just hiding. And the Gestapo, oh my god, this is great. I love this story so far. This is amazing.
Then she smuggles them out of the country. Okay, fast forward a month. It's November 1942. She just staged that huge jailbreak. All the Germans are looking for her. And now the Gestapo has brought in an additional 500 men, all with the sole purpose of finding the limping lady.
Jesus Christ, 500 guys just to find one person. That's awesome. She has got them pissed off. Holy fuck.
It is at this moment Virginia decides it's probably time to leave. But with 500 new Gestapo all looking for a woman with a limp, she can't take any of the normal ways out of the country, so the only method she has to escape is to take the Pyrenees Freedom Trail, a 50-mile hike through the Pyrenees Mountains to cross the border between France and Spain. And she has to do it in November, in the coldest winter for France in over 200 years.
Oh,
it is a
David!
3 to 4 day hiking trail for people doing it for fun, not in the middle of winter, and Virginia manages to do it in 2 days with a wooden leg.
God damn, woman! Are you made of iron?
During her hike, she was communicating with London via radio, not like secret spy radio, just normal radio transmissions. It wasn't going to blow her cover. She was already blown and she was leaving anyways, so it didn't really matter. And she would tell London that Cuthbert was giving her issues because I'm sure, as you can imagine, hiking with a wooden leg would get pretty tiresome after a while.
Yeah.
Would appear so, wouldn't it?
To which London, not knowing who Cuthbert was, responded by saying, if Cuthbert is giving you problems, have him eliminated.
Take him out.
Take him out.
So she crosses the border into Spain after 2 days, complete
That's
badass. She has
funny.
escaped the Nazis, and 48 hours
If Cuthbert is giving you problems, have him eliminated.
after she leaves Lyon, her entire hotel room gets ransacked because the Germans finally figured out who she was, and she had escaped just in the nick of time. And then she promptly gets arrested by Spanish authorities for illegal immigration. So
Well, and Spain is a fascist at this point. Spain is a fascist country too.
then she has to get a message out to London, out to America. They finally come, bail her out. She goes back to London working with the SOE, and she's like, okay, well, cool, send me back in. And they're like, no, your cover's blown. You've done all you're going to do.
Yeah,
that's it
you
for
can't
We're not
go
gonna let
back.
you do anything else as far as like actively working undercover goes. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but Virginia Hall basically says, okay, well, peace out, nerds. I'm going to go work with the Americans. She goes over to America, goes to the OSS, the direct predecessor of the CIA, and is like, hey, I'm more experienced than any spy you guys have. Put me in, coach. To which the OSS is like, sure, why not? And they give
we need everybody we can get. We just sure, lady with the wooden leg.
for a shot. This time, Virginia makes sure that she takes a wireless transmitting class, though, so now she can also send the wireless transmitting signals. She doesn't want to be the only spy not able to, like last time. So she does that. She then realizes that she's going to have to pretend to be a much older woman. This would help disguise her limp, and it would help change her face so that they didn't know what she looked like anymore.
Yep.
So she goes to a professional Hollywood makeup artist, learns how to do makeup to look like a really old woman.
Good
and
job.
then she goes to a dentist in London that grinds all her teeth down so she looks like she has terrible teeth like a French peasant would.
Oh man, back having your teeth ground down is never fun, but back then, ooh.
The OSS then sneaks her back into France on a PT boat and drops her off completely by herself again. And from there, she just starts doing it all over again. She develops a huge spy network again. This time, she's posing as an elderly milkmaid by day and a spy master by night. At this point in time, the French resistance had all kinds of guerrilla fighters, but they were basically just running around blowing shit up, being as big of a nuisance as they possibly could, and weren't being strategic about it at all. So over the course of the next year and a half, Virginia set out to establish a chain of command and actually get them to work together and coordinate attacks and efforts.
I wonder if that's what that Voyager episode is based off of. The where they think they're in Nazi Germany at the French Resistance in 1942, and they have to hold off till the Americans show up. And Catherine Janeway is Katrine, and she's like organizing all the guerrilla fighters, and yeah, it's interesting.
By 1944, she had amassed an entire army. She had 3 battalions,
Holy fuck!
1,500 guerrilla fighters that she was coordinating attacks against the Germans with from the inside, all while transmitting signals to the Americans to have them drop off supplies like guns and explosives to continue fighting with. She would then be notified that in June of 1944, D-Day was going to happen, and in the weeks leading up to it, she used her guerrilla army to coordinate and sabotage major highways, railroads, communication lines, and bridges, preventing the Germans from reinforcing the right beaches in a timely fashion.
Nice! I like that. I really like that. That's a smart idea. Seven of 9 is supposed to have been Virginia Hall. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. With her knowledge of that makes perfect sense. That makes absolutely perfect sense. But yeah, I'm totally recognizing the parallels between that episode and this story.
Potentially changing the entire course of D-Day. And somewhere around this time frame, the OSS would send in a reinforcement to help Virginia out, a young Polish operative by the name of Paul Giat. He parachuted into theater, too late to have any real influence on the operation, but him and Virginia would end up falling in love. After the war, they would both move back home to America, where Paul would get his citizenship, and they would both begin their careers working for the newly found CIA. They would then go on to lead a specialized task force monitoring communism in the Eastern Bloc of Europe. Yeah, this incredible story literally ends with 2 spies falling in love and going out on missions together.
Aww.
In 1945, President Truman wanted to give Virginia the Distinguished Service Cross, the highest honor a civilian could receive, because technically spies weren't in the military, so they're ineligible for the Medal of Honor. But President Truman wanted to give this to her in a humongous ceremony, tell her story, and make her basically an international hero and celebrity. Virginia, however, declined that offer because she didn't want her cover blown. She still wanted to be operational and capable of helping the United States and the world if she was needed. She became the only female civilian of World War II to be awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, and was awarded to her by General William Donovan, and by her own request, it was awarded in front of only one witness, her mom.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's a see, Mom? See, Mom? You wanted me to get married at fucking 18 and merge the family business, and I didn't. And look at me now, Mom. Hey, Mom. What did you do? What did you do with your life, Ma?
Her future husband and fiancé, Paul, wasn't there because she didn't think her mother would approve. This woman was behind enemy lines fighting against the Nazis for all of World War II, the entire thing, longer than probably any other American, and she's still scared of the opinions of Mom.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. I don't get what it is about moms and daughters, but, like, my mother lives an hour away and barely freaking talks to me, and I'm still afraid to let her have a piece of my mind. It's pathetic.
And that's it. Virginia and Paul would live happily ever after. They retired at 60 years old, and Virginia would pass away at the age of 76 in 1982. And nobody knew anything about this until they read her obituary. She never gave an interview. She never wrote a memoir. She never said a single thing. And later in life, when she was asked why she never talked about it, she said, and I quote, "Too many of my friends died for talking too much." Which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck. So, in conclusion, this is a story of Virginia Hall, the deadliest spy of World War II. Thank you for watching.
That was awesome.
Go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
That was awesome.
The fact that people know and care more about Kim Kardashian over Virginia Hall is going to piss me off probably for the rest of forever.
It should. It should piss you off for the rest of forever because fuck Kim Kardashian. Virginia Hall is a much cooler character, I would say. What a really cool story. What a fascinating story. That was really cool. And as I said, I can definitely see those parallels between the Voyager episode and this story. It's really cool. That was awesome. What a great story. Holy crap. That makes me smile just to think about it. I love it. I really, really love it. What a great story. And what a great way to tell it, too. Hooray to the fat electrician. I love that. Okay, we have I need more coffee, so I'm going to quickly do like a 2-minute, no more of these like stupid 5-minute breaks. We're going to do a 2-minute break at the most. I'm going to quickly refill my coffee and I shall return. And then we'll then we'll get into the political stuff. Because I have an article that's politics and then I have question period. So be right back. And we're back. Right. Let's jump to our article. All right.
Aircraft Sparky. Aircraft Spark. Addy modes.
And pop. Oops. Let's check Twitch chat real quick. Oops. All right. Okay. So, the NDP are very upset with the Liberals with because of their donations and their contributions to Loblaws, which I'm not surprised about them being upset about because it's a lot of money. NDP leader slams Liberals for paying nearly $26 million to Costco and Loblaws over recent years. So this is another big problem, because if this keeps happening and the NDP keeps showing public displeasure with the Liberals, this coalition is not going to last. And then the Liberals cannot they can't do anything without support. That's their minority is that low. Ottawa. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is slamming the federal Liberals for giving nearly $26 million to Costco and Loblaws for energy efficient appliances. Why can't Loblaws just buy their own? Like, why do they need the tax rebates and shit for the energy efficient appliances? They are rich enough. They can afford energy efficient freezers and fridges and hoods for the pre-cooked food and all that. Like, they don't need rebates. They don't need subsidies for that shit. They can afford that shit all by themselves. What the fuck? The money came from the Liberal governments. The government came from the Liberal government's Low Carbon Economy Fund, which is meant to support projects that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions. How will energy efficient units in grocery stores help lower greenhouse gas emissions? How much greenhouse gas emissions come from refrigeration units? I'm guessing maybe the production of Freon might be what they're talking about. I don't quite know. I'm not going to pretend that I do. That is a valid question I'm asking. What greenhouse gas emissions are produced by refrigeration units? I really don't know.
Aircraft Sparky. But with Virginia Hull. Addy modes. Aircraft Sparky. But with Virginia Hull didn't have a sex tape button. Aircraft
What, Virginia Hall didn't have a sex tape?
Sparky.
But Virginia Hall didn't have a sex tape. Ah, maybe she did. She was a spy after all. In 2019, the Liberals faced heat from Conservatives after the government announced it was giving up to $12 million to Loblaws for energy efficient refrigeration and freezers at 300 of its stores. Yeah, why does it need to do that? Galen Weston can more than afford to upgrade the units in the stores. The government does not need to help them. They're not a small mom and pop grocery store. That's what that's meant for, by the way. That's meant for like the small restaurant or the small grocery store, the independent business. Like, that's what that's meant for. It's not meant for the giant corporation that can afford that. Newly released data from Environment and Climate Change Canada shows Costco was also given more than $15 million for efforts to reduce emissions, including new fridges. Again, something that they can afford the cost of completely on their own.
Sparky. The production of electricity could contribute to the greenhouse gas aircraft.
The production of electricity could contribute to the greenhouse gas emissions. Maybe that too.
Text field.
But I'm just wondering, like this fund, the low carbon economy fund, that's supposed to help small businesses be low carbon. That's not supposed to help big, like, imagine giving that shit to Walmart for its grocery section, or it probably did too. Loblaw was ultimately given more than $10 million. The payments were made to the two grocery chains between 2019 and 2023. While people are deciding what they can afford in grocery aisles, liberals are deciding how many millions of dollars to hand out to grocery giants, Singh said Wednesday. Oh, shit. I wonder if that's going to be part of question period that we're going to hear in a minute. Just stop giving millions of dollars of our public money to highly profitable companies, he said. Stop giving millions of dollars to a for-profit corporation instead of helping people who are struggling to afford food. The opposition conservatives accused Singh of faking outrage over the issue.
Double tap to edit.
Well, yeah,
Adding aircraft.
kind of is.
The production of add check message input. Chat. Ellipsis.
Considering that he's been voting with the Liberals since
Misspelled words.
before 2021, the last election. He kind of is faking the issue. Liberal government through a political pact. Yeah, they are. They can be as angry as they want at Trudeau, but until they stop voting with him, they are showing that they believe in the Liberal policy. So Singh can be as angry as he wants, but until he tells his party to stop voting with the Liberals, that rage is just words. And as the conservatives are saying, it's fake rage.
Aircraft Sparky. The production of add check message.
And that's a valid criticism. Because if Singh, like I said, if Singh is going to keep voting, then he I switched over to Twitch to show you love here too. Oh, thank you, Aircraft Sparky. Small business in America is defined as companies with under 10K employees, I believe. Okay. I'm not sure what a small business what defines a small business in Canada. But Loblaws is definitely not one of those.
Sparky. The add check message input.
Definitely not.
Text field. Double tap to edit. Use the road or to access misspelled words.
It is definitely not Loblaws or Costco. That is for damn sure. Oops. That's not the correct video. That's the correct video. Okay. So let's see if we can hear the exchange that we just read about in the news. This is question period, my friends. Here we go.
Oral questions. Questions orales.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Yay!
Conservatives have a common sense plan to cut taxes, build housing, fix the budget, and stop crime. And yet, this Prime Minister
keeps saying we don't have that.
He doubled our national debt, doubled the cost of housing, and tripled it in Montreal. To be frank, the end of the month is approaching, and Quebecers have a lot of anxiety.
The end of the month is approaching? It is? It's May 8th, dude! Where are you? What time frame are you in?
Paying their rent. Will the Prime Minister finally backtrack on his inflationary policies, which might make Quebecers lose their houses and apartments? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Holy shit!
Mr. Speaker, instead
He's
of increasing
actually
and
in the House again for a second day in a row. Holy moly.
stoking Canadians' anxiety with misinformation, he should share the real facts. And the fact is that our fiscal position is stronger than other G7 countries. We have the highest credit rating of all countries in the world. We are working.
Yes, citizens don't
responsibly
care about that because their credit
ensure
ratings are shit
that-
right now. Oh, I heard a bring. What is the bring? Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for the biddies.
The government's assets are used to the benefit of Canadians.
No,
We
they're
have a
not.
comprehensive plan
They're used to
create housing
benefit
for
the
all
Ukraine. What the
generations.
fuck
The
are you
Leader of the
talking about?
Opposition. Really? He's accusing
Hey,
me
Lord
of
Famine.
stoking anxiety among Quebecers. Without me, they never would have noticed that their rent had doubled. If I hadn't mentioned it, does he think Quebecers can't read numbers?
What the fuck is he saying? No, he's not saying that you had to mention it. He's saying you caused it, you dumb motherfucker. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy shit. He's an idiot. Holy fuck. I'm gonna need to do some jumping jacks. Somebody, I need wine. Somebody make me do jumping jacks.
He says the economy is not numbers, but rent is certainly numbers.
What?
The
Wait, what?
grocery bill, that's numbers. Will he finally look at the numbers and conclude that he is simply not worth the cost?
Oh, this is okay. This is
Plan
Polyev.
to create
Okay.
housing for all generations. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Okay, this is. I thought I messed because I was reading bits.
Really?
Okay.
Used to the benefit of Canadians. We have a comprehensive plan to create housing for all generations.
Let's
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
let's re-listen to what Polyev has to say.
Really? He's accusing me of stoking anxiety among Quebecers. Without me, they never would have noticed that their rent had doubled. If I hadn't mentioned it, does he think Quebecers can't read numbers? He says the economy is not numbers, but rent is certainly numbers. The grocery bill, that's
Okay,
numbers.
this makes more sense.
Will he finally look at the numbers and conclude that he is
Twitch,
simply
check Twitch chat. $300 points for 10 side races from Aircraft Sparky. Let's put it on solo cam. Solo cam. And we'll get the kettlebells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. All right. Now let me go back to question period. Oh, And Lord Famine has 10 squats. Jumping jacks are Streamlabs donation. So the Twitch points do squats and side raises, but for overhead presses and jumping jacks, you must pay. So the overhead presses are a sub on Twitch or $10 to Streamlabs, and jumping jacks are $15 to Streamlabs for 15 jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, holy shit, 8, 9, 10. Whew, we did it.
Twitch, now, Matt saying, Lord Famine, Addy, check, add, Lord Famine moderator. Hey, there was 10 squats and all the cursing in there as well. Button.
I did the 10 squats, and don't worry. Don't worry. All the cursing is coming. Especially with what we're watching right now.
Lord Famine moderator. Hey, there was 10 Addy modes. Button. Lord Famine moderator. Cute PJ Pants VP. Button.
Cute PJ Pants, thank you.
That's Addy mode. Lord Famine moderator. Hey, there was 10 add chat now. Chat. Ellipsis.
Thank you.
Double tap to edit.
No worries, dude. Oh, donation streamlabs.com/blindpress. It's up in the YouTube description. I don't know why Twitch isn't showing up I don't know why the Streamlabs link doesn't show up on Twitch. It's kind of annoying. Oops, there we go. Okay.
Simply not worth the cost.
Le très honorable.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, for months and even years, we've been hearing the Conservatives say that our policy of investing in Canadians is causing the challenges Canadians are dealing with.
Yes, it is, because you're not investing, you're printing fucking money.
This is the one. Facebook tears of joy. Hashtags. Lord Famine.
Oh my god.
Squats and all the curse. Addy modes.
Oh my god. You are not fucking investing, you're blowing money.
On the contrary, our fiscal position is the strongest among G7 countries. We are investing and using that strong position precisely to help families that are struggling to get by.
You did, okay. We weren't struggling to get by until you showed up.
Collapse video. 12:49.
You,
Lord Famine moderator. Hey, there was Addy mode.
oh my god.
investing in housing, in healthcare, in dental care, in senior care, in child care. All those
None of those
investments
things are
help
your
Canadians.
jurisdiction.
And the government is at the service of Canadians. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. This Prime Minister is not worth the cost after 9 years. He's doubled the debt, doubled housing costs. He's increased spending by nearly 80%. What did we get for the money?
Nothing.
The worst per person income growth in the entire G7 and the worst mortgage debt of all of those countries.
But our credit rating as a country, Mr. Speaker. Our credit rating. Don't you care about our credit rating?
When will he realize that the more he spends, the worse things get?
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives have been talking down the economy for a long time now without understanding that Canada has actually the strongest strongest macroeconomic performance in the G7. And our perspective is to put that solid footing of the government of Canada in service of Canadians by investing in housing, by investing in dental care, by investing in childcare, by investing in
Just
the
a
supports
moment.
that Canadians need in this difficult time. His solution is for governments to invest.
Let's see here. He now gets a jumping / bouncing or whatever. He. You paid the toll. Yes, you did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Bouncingness. There you go. There you go. Okay.
Invest less in Canadians for ideological reasons to be there.
Oh,
less
fuck
people
off.
who need it most.
Invest less for ideological reasons? What the You've been printing money for ideological reasons, I'm running out of curse words. Lord Famine, help me. I'm running out of curse words for all the cursing. You flim flam man. I don't know what to call him anymore. Holy shit. They want to invest less for ideological reasons. Got to make sure she doesn't wipe herself out with the furniture, right? I do.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, more proof that this Prime Minister is not worth the cost. He tells Canadians they've never had it so good. He doubled the debt, doubled housing costs, forced 2 million people to a food bank. He brags that he spends $87 billion on housing programs, and what did it get us? Got us the worst housing inflation of any country in the G7, the second worst out of nearly 40 OECD countries. Why does he always spend the most to achieve the worst? Right.
Because in his mind, investing means you have to spend everything. Investing means, to him, if he were to get, like, an inheritance, he would invest the entire goddamn thing instead of paying off debt, putting some money aside that you could access for emergencies, and then investing the rest. No, he would invest every single penny, make himself homeless, and be like, but I invested my money. I don't have a place to live or clothes to wear or food to eat, but I invested my money, you guys. Go me.
Right. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think Canadians will take no lessons from a former housing minister who was in a government that didn't believe in investing in housing. Obviously,
We didn't. Oh, six houses.
Mr.
Six
Speaker,
houses.
The federal government had underinvested in housing, and it has led to the challenges we're facing now. That is why we are putting, and have been putting, in service of Canadians since 2017.
That's the first Streamlabs donation you've done in years. Oh.
The federal government to invest in Canadians, to invest in communities, to invest in housing.
I'm
to
doing
help
my
solve this
Woot,
challenge
I'm
that,
doing
people
my
are
bit
facing
for the
around
mobile
world that we are
infantry.
solving despite
We must defeat the bug incursion.
Honourable Leader of
Yes.
the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he's absolutely right that we did not waste the billions of dollars that he's now put into his programs, but here are the results. The average rent for a one-bedroom when I was housing minister was $973, and we built 80,000 apartment units at that low rate when I was minister. Now the cost has more than doubled. Meanwhile, Stats Canada reports that incomes are down $17,000 per family. Why are Canadians making $17,000 less to pay double the price for a home?
Right, like Pincalo, he makes 80 grand a year and it still feels like he's still making like 25, 30, like he was working full time.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Here's the question Canadians should be asking the Leader of the Opposition. Given that Canada has one of the strongest economic balance sheets in the G7 right now, country for country compared, should we be investing to support Canadians and create housing with that solid balance sheet, or should, as the Conservative leader is proposing, we cut programs,
Yes, let's cut the programs that you don't have jurisdiction over, and we'll cut the programs that aren't doing anything. Just how about we do all of that?
Reduce investment and we do less for Canadians. We should be putting the strong fiscal position of this government in service of Canadians. That's what we're doing. That's what he opposes.
You gotta have
The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, yesterday the
Here's
Prime
the block.
Minister appeared to condone the insulting comments of one of his members that have reverberated around the Francophone world.
Oh, here we go.
But it's all a bit of a distraction because the real issue is the funding of French language universities.
What?
But it's all a bit of a distraction because the real issue is the funding of French language universities. So we don't look like barbarians again. Could the Prime Minister call for the resignation of the president of the APF and ask him to apologize to all our partners in the francophonie? The Right Honourable.
Hey, block asshole. Housing. Groceries. Inflation. Fuck your fucking language shit.
Prime Minister, I wouldn't like to interfere with the poetic arguments of the leader opposite, but the fact is that
Then stop handing out money to migrants we didn't ask for or even want, and maybe give it to Canadians who need it. There you go, making sense again, Lord
been
Famine.
known for a long time. It's the word.
Screw the frogs. Let them fund their goddamn universities. Yes! Exactly.
Our member has been used for a long time. He didn't invent it. Our member didn't invent it. He did apologize and withdraw.
Wait.
It's the word that our member has been used for a long time. He didn't invent it. Our member didn't invent it. He did apologize and withdraw his remarks.
Oh my god. That's like saying the N-word has been used for a long time and the member didn't invent it, but he apologized for saying it. What? 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 What the fuck? He didn't. That word's been used. I don't know what slur. Hold on. Let's look this up. What did President of the APF say? I want to. What was his big faux pas? Oh, he called.
Twitch now. Queen underscore Spence's live. Some morning MK. Donation drive date notification. Twitch notification. Twitch now. Queen underscore Spence's live.
Okay.
Swipe down with 3 fingers to reveal notifications. Swipe up with 3 fingers to reveal the control center. Double tap to scroll to top.
Let's see here.
1:01 p.m. Status bar item.
Oh, he called. Okay. So this guy. So this Franco Ontario. So he's a French-speaking Ontarian Liberal MP, and he called 2 Quebec French language campaigners for the protection of the French language in Quebec extremists and full of shit. And apparently that word, he didn't invent that word. He didn't invent that word. It's been used for a long time. But, so apparently, anybody on the Liberals side can say that people are extremists without punishment. But the minute somebody from the conservative side points out the extremist policies that are going on, no.
But the fact remains, Mr. Speaker, that we will stand up to protect Francophones all across the country and to defend French in Quebec, but also, and this is something the Bloc would never do and could never do, which is defend French outside Quebec all across the country.
Damn.
Then I have
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, there's an expression in Quebec, I can't do anything that he doesn't do himself. So he's doubling down, he's laying it on thicker, he continues to condone comments that make no sense.
French
He's
is not a
trying to do
language that should
something,
ever be funded.
He's trying to joke, but he's not very good at that. Could he simply take responsibility and shut up the clown beside him and call on the president? But he's not very good at that. Could he simply take responsibility and shut up the clown beside him and call on the president of the APF to step down?
Damn.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The Bloc leader's responsibility is simply to pick fights with Ottawa. Our responsibility as a Liberal.
PayPal. Now. PayPal. You received $15 USD from Aircraft Sparky. Ad emotes. Aircraft Sparky. More viewer time. Aircraft Sparky. More viewer time and such. Button. Aircraft Sparky. I'm bouncing between chats.
You're bouncing between chats, more viewer time and such. Thank you, Aircraft Sparky, for doing that. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate that. Just because I think you need to physically work out that anger. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Thank you. I feel better.
Liberal federal government is to defend official languages all across the country, to defend French in Quebec, but also defend French all across Canada. We will stand
You keep saying that.
and remain to defend language minorities all across the country, but it shouldn't surprise anyone that the most recent bugbear of the
most
Bloc
recent
Québécois
what?
is to attack Franco-Ontarians. Everyone knows that they don't like Francophones outside Quebec.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
And language minorities all across the country, but it shouldn't surprise anyone that the most recent bugbear of the Bloc Québécois is to attack Franco-Ontarians. Everyone knows that they don't like Francophones outside Quebec.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Why don't we, yeah, go ahead and nuke your fucking political allies there, dude. Wow. Wow. Way to nuke the fucking pact. Holy shit.
The honourable member from Burnaby South.
Oh.
Canadians are struggling to put food on the table, and what are the Liberals doing? Well, they're giving $25 million to Costco and Loblaws. And what are the Conservatives doing? Well, the Conservatives, their leader is too busy
Oh, no
dining,
worries.
corporate lobbyists, and private dinner clubs.
Double streaming here as well. Thank you, Lord Famine. Double jiggle. All right.
We need to tackle corporate greed. We need to make sure we bring down the prices and stop giving millions of dollars to corporate grocery stores. When will the Liberals, when will the Prime Minister stop giving big grocery a free ride?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, not only are we continuing to move forward on our grocery code of conduct, but we're working on our
You shouldn't need a grocery code of conduct. There should be fucking grocery stores. We don't need a national food program for schools. We don't want that. We want our money to go farther at the grocery store. We don't want the government to feed our fucking kids.
To provide meals for more than 400,000 kids a year and save the average family with 2 children as much as...
Thank you, Marky. You made my day. You really made my day. I try really hard to make this entertaining for everybody and not just be a fucking sniper wolf clone and be like, wow, oh my god, wow. And actually provide some commentary with the stuff that I cover. So thank you for that. That makes me very, very happy.
That will crack down on predatory pricing, and the NDP has the opportunity
maybe
to
if you
support
had
us
not
as it goes
created
through this
the
House.
what's the word?
The honourable member for Burnaby South.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Framework
for predatory pricing.
As people struggle to fill their fridges.
Oh, here's the quote from the article.
The Prime Minister is giving $25 million to Loblaws and Costco when they're making record profits.
The government will feed the kids bugs. Probably.
What's it going to take for this Prime Minister to understand these big grocery chains are raking in bills?
Oh, no, I'm not gonna do the hot tub shit. I've jokingly thought about jumping into my bathtub with a bikini or a bathing suit on, but even then I'm like, I just want to relax in my bathtub. I don't want to be streaming while I'm relaxing.
Billions. They really don't need the handouts. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, not only are we continuing with the code of conduct for grocery stores, we're also making reforms to competition that should help bring prices down. We also are launching a national food school program that should help 400,000...
I swear, he says the same thing in French as he does in English, and none of it is true.
...kids every year and allow families to save up to $800 per child.
$800 a year per child. Let's break that down for a second. What's 800 divided by 12?
800 divided by 12 is approximately 66.6666.
$66 a month. Now, there are 5 days in a school week. So there are 20 days of school in a month. What is 66 divided by 20?
66 divided by 20 is 3.3.
$3.30 a day. They're saving parents with this national school food program. Fuck you. Fuck. If you decide to do that, make it behind a paywall. Oh yeah, for sure.
There are measures in our fall economic statement before the House now which should do away with abusive pricing, and the NDP can help us get those measures passed.
You don't need to pass measures on abusive pricing. If you hadn't developed the framework, abusive pricing wouldn't exist. We have survived for many years with grocery prices at reasonable costs from Loblaws and Costco and Sobeys, and like, it's only been in the last 9 years, dude.
Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the NDP leader was just asking about why the Prime Minister gave tens of millions of dollars in corporate handouts to powerful grocery chains. So the answer, of course, is that he voted to let the Prime Minister do that.
Thank you.
Penny of that money could have gone without the vote of the NDP coalition partner. But we learned something else, that this might have been due to the influence of the NDP leader's spokesman and brother, whose company is a lobbyist for Metro.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Polyev with the facts again. Oh, aren't those inconvenient?
The Prime Minister support an investigation into whether or not the NDP leader's spokesman and brother has been unduly influencing the leader of the NDP.
If the town I'm in had a Costco, I'd go there every day and have a hot dog or slice of pizza for lunch. Costco pizza is bomb and huge. I have never had Costco pizza.
The Right Honourable Prime... The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we can see very clearly that all the stories out about the lobbyists' connections with the Leader of the Opposition are actually hurting the Leader of the Opposition, which is why...
Did you really just say that?
Connections with the Leader of the Opposition are actually hurting the Leader of the Opposition, which is why he's asking those questions of the NDP. But he has an opportunity right now, Mr. Speaker.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He stands with Canadians and stands to ask the wealthiest to pay a little more by announcing now that he will support our measure on increasing the capital gains.
No, fuck increasing the capital gains tax. Increase the fucking corporate tax.
Canadians, asking the wealthiest to pay a little bit more. He has dodged that question since the budget came out. Does he support the increase on the capital gains inclusion rate?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I do support the Prime Minister paying more tax on the trust fund where he sheltered all policies. That's why he won't put them into a budget bill. But one tax he is increasing is the carbon tax on food. He's doing it with the help of the NDP. We already have the second highest carbon tax in the entire developed world. And yet, if the NDP Liberal government is re-elected, they plan to quadruple that tax to 61 cents a litre on the farmers and truckers who bring us our food. How will Canadians afford to eat, heat, and house themselves?
He doesn't care.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Once again, Canadians saw that he avoided pronouncing on whether or not he supports our increase to the capital gains inclusions rate. But in regards to his deflection...
No, he answered. He said, I would definitely like people like you to pay more, but you don't because you hide your money. That's exactly what he said. You get a super big pepperoni pizza that can feed a whole family for like $10. Oh, shit. That's pretty awesome.
Carbon pricing works. We are on track to meet our emissions for the first time in any government in Canadian history. And Canadians get more money back in their pockets thanks to the Canada Carbon Rebate. And families are already using that rebate to help pay their bills and plan their monthly budgets. Meanwhile, the Conservative
If you didn't charge so much in carbon tax, we wouldn't need a rebate, you dumb fuck.
And fighting climate change.
We don't care about fighting climate change because we're a negative emissions country. Anybody that knows anything would know that.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, This Prime Minister, just like his carbon tax, is not worth the cost. The tax is already up to 17 cents a litre, higher than he promised it would go. And he plans to quadruple it further to 61 cents a litre. This after it is a proven environmental failure.
Yep.
Canada ranks 62nd out of 67 countries when it comes to fighting climate change. And this is precisely because what he has is a tax plan and not an environmental plan.
Oh shit! And Polyev has actually talked about having an environmental plan. Canada has a carbon tax. Need for liberation increases. See, this guy, this Polyev guy that you're listening to, he's the leader of the opposition. He's the guy that in our next election, I'm pretty sure he's going to be our prime minister. And this guy is really good. Like, he has austerity measures that aren't going to be like austerity to the point where we're going to be in trouble, but he's got austerity measures. He's got an actual environment plan.
Will he stop?
This guy is
Why don't we
great.
adopt our common sense plan for technology and not taxes?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition wants to present an actual plan to fight climate change, we'd love to see it, but he has refused to take
he has.
to fight climate change, period. He even doesn't...
There's literally, I've visited the Conservative Party's website. There is a huge document that goes over their policies and their plans. It's like pages and pages and pages long.
doesn't recognize...
And by the way, it's more readable than the Government of Canada's current website. So take that with what you will.
that pollution has a cost, which will only keep rising if we don't fight climate change, with extreme weather events and health impacts increasingly impacting on Canadians. Indeed, the Conservative leader thinks it should be free to pollute, and that we shouldn't be giving more money to Canadians through the Canada Carbon Rebate. We will continue to have an effective plan to fight climate change that is reducing emissions and putting more money back
He's
in
very
Canadians'
based.
pockets with the CCR.
He's very, very based. The CCR, you have Creedence Clearwater Revival in the tax plan. No wonder everything costs so much money.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, that since the Prime Minister introduced his carbon tax on the farmers who grow the food and the truckers who ship the food, it has raised the price on all who buy the food, with a record-smashing 2 million visits to food banks every single year. 50% of Canadians buying food past best before dates. 20% of them have gotten sick as a result of it. The Prime Minister promised that he was going to help the middle class and those working hard to join it. Now, the so-called middle class can't afford food.
The middle class
homes.
is now the
Is that
lower
what he meant
class.
by help?
The middle class is now the lower class, and the lower class is now homeless.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, according to the Parliamentary Budget Officer, 8 out of 10 Canadians, middle income and lower income Canadians primarily, do better with the Canada
Better.
Carbon Rebate.
Yes, if you pronounce the T's in better, that makes it true.
Lands in their bank accounts 4 times a year because of the price of pollution. But if the leader opposite actually cared about affordability and supporting vulnerable Canadians, he'd be standing up to support our measure on dental care, which has now delivered dental
Not your
care to
jurisdiction.
30,000 vulnerable seniors across this country already in just a few weeks. He would be supporting our initiatives to help families. He'd be supporting our initiatives to help with childcare.
Not your jurisdiction.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, we have to do this all over again with him. The Parliamentary Budget Officer produced a report. I'm going to read the title so that he can Google it right now, Mr. Speaker. It is called the Parliamentary Budget Officer's Report on the Distribution of Costs and Benefits under the Carbon Pricing Program. He can look at page 3.
This is the TikTok clip that Pink Hollow showed me.
Cannibalistic wizard. I know how to lower the carbon levels fast. Glass Russia, China, and France. Button.
I know how to lower the carbon levels fast. Glass, Russia, China, and France.
Aircraft Sparky. He's a
Yeah,
zeitgeist.
pretty much.
where every single province that has the tax sees middle-class Canadians and 60% of families paying more in tax than they get back in benefits. Why won't he get to know the facts and axe the tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
As opposed to the Leader of the Opposition's campaign to simply axe the facts, we...
Oh my god!
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
As opposed to the Leader of the Opposition's campaign to simply axe the facts,
The facts? He just gave you the facts from the Parliamentary Budget Officer's report. Does that mean we should axe those facts? Holy fuck! Holy fuck!
we are going to continue to stand with the science, the evidence, the research, the economists
Science,
who
huh?
pointed out, including the Parliamentary Budget
Yeah,
Officer,
you stick with that
the
science.
carbon rebate puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 families in the jurisdictions across the country in which it is, and is effective in bringing down our emissions while creating economic growth as we invest in cleaner technology and good jobs and careers for the future. We have a plan for the economy and the environment. He does not.
Yeah, say it louder. That'll make it real.
Just going to ask our members, please. I know sometimes that members don't like hearing the question or the answer.
No, they don't like hearing lies. That's right, Fergus. They don't like hearing lies.
Just going to ask our members, please. I know sometimes that members don't like hearing the question or the answer, but I'm asking all members, please, the only one who is standing up to has recognized by the
Oh,
speaker,
Canadians are gonna
has the
save
right to
themselves from this government. Don't worry. This next election, you are going to see the biggest landslide victory for the Conservatives, and you are going to see the lefties lose their shit. It's between Canada electing Poilievre and whoever the fuck gets elected. I honestly, I have less hope of the United States not re-electing Biden again than I do of Poilievre getting re-elected. I have more hope of Poilievre getting re-elected than I do of enough people saying, no, fuck Joe Biden in the States.
Good jobs don't matter when you tax them to the point they're poor. But Aircraft Sparky. Make Canada
That's just my prediction. I have a feeling that just because of how big your population is and how like lefty a whole bunch of them are, I have a big feeling that you are going to see another Democrat president again before you see a conservative or Republican president. I think the Republicans are getting more and more sway because of what's going on, but I still think there are a lot of idiots that are gonna vote Democrat, and it's gonna be interesting.
stand up and to ask a question. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, with his comedy routine, I was going to say that he shouldn't quit his day job, but actually, he should quit his day job. But he shouldn't go into number crunching, whatever his next job is, because he doesn't believe the economy is about numbers. And I don't blame him, because if I had his economic record, I wouldn't want to talk about numbers either. But it might help him to go to the library and quietly study just a little bit. Will he commit to reading page 3 of the Parliamentary Budget Officer's report, which demonstrates Canadians pay more than they get back in the tax?
Thank you. Just read one page of a document. That's all you have to do.
The Right Honourable Prime
Jobs
Minister.
don't matter when you
Mr.
tax
Speaker,
them to the point where they're
Parliamentary
poor.
Budget
True.
Officer and far many more experts and economists
That you paid off.
have clearly demonstrated that the money that returns to Canadians through the Canada carbon rebate 4 times a year is greater than 8 out of 10 Canadians pay every year.
You're a
Based on
liar.
pollution. Those are the simple facts, Mr. Speaker. We will continue to invest in Canadians. We will continue to support with affordability. We will continue to put the best balance sheet in the G7 in the service of Canadians through investments and support, unlike the cuts he's proposing.
Dude, if you invest all the money and leave nothing else to help yourself with, that's not a good investment.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker.
The Parliamentary Butters Report.
Unlike the cuts he's
You caught that too?
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker. Researchers using data from StatsCan, according to the Prime Minister, are people trying to pick a fight. But people who insult Quebec and cause the entire Francophonie to ask questions, is he not picking a fight himself and just defending his little buddy?
Oh, France, what's his name for the Bloc Québécois? He's called him out. He's like, this dude, Polyev is using data from like accredited people, and that's picking a fight. But yet somebody can say extremist piece of shit on your side of the house, and that's fine.
I'd just like to remind all members to be very cautious with their use of terms in asking questions or answering.
Get fucked, Craig. That was a perfectly valid question.
Let's make sure everything's parliamentary. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Wow.
Mr. Speaker, the member apologized and withdrew his use of the term cabron. We will continue to defend French and the Francophonie.
Oh, so it's not just that, it's cabron, he said. That's not okay. Yes, please like the stream.
All across the world and Canada, which unfortunately the Bloc can't do because they attack Franco-Ontarians and they attack language minority communities all across the country. We will always stand up to defend French in Quebec to the tune of billions in investments, and we will be there for minority language communities all across the country, as we always have done.
So, again, throwing bricks at the frickin' Bloc Québécois and the NDP, even though he needs their help to stay in power.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, the term I used and which you mentioned was far less serious than the term he used opposite, which everyone's turning a blind eye to. The Prime Minister always tries to pit Francophones in Quebec against those outside Quebec, but I would remind him that during the last election campaign, I raised the issue of Francophones outside Quebec, and he said this isn't the right place to be talking about that.
He did, actually. That did happen. That was in one of the debates. And he did actually say that. He tried to bring up French-speaking people in Ontario, the Acadian people up in the Maritimes, and Trudeau was like, this is not the right time for this.
Is that picking a fight? Is that not picking a fight? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I would be delighted to be able to work with the members of the Bloc in defending French language communities all across Canada.
Except you just sat there and said that they hate French-speaking people from outside of Canada. So which one is it? Do you want to work with them, or do you think they hate French people from outside of Quebec?
But as you know, French may be doing better. If it's doing better in the rest of the country, that would do damage to their dream of independence.
Oh!
So that's why they really don't give a hoot about Francophone communities outside Quebec. They think Quebec is the only place where French needs protection.
Wow! Just lay all the cards out there, Justin. Just. Whoo! Whoo boy. Tell me he didn't grow up hearing his dad ranting about the FLQ and René Lévesque and all of the people that wanted Quebec separation. This sounds like this is the way that he's talking. This goes way deeper than his office right now. He's calling back from his daddy, from listening to his dad rant and rave about the fucking about René Lévesque and everybody. Whoo boy. I just caught that.
But we are working to protect French in Quebec, but we are doing the same all across the country. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. After 9 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost of housing. He has doubled the cost of housing. And now the crisis is such that more people than ever in Quebec are struggling. Not-for-profit organizations are saying
Justin actually
that,
never actually
some
met his
people
real
are
father.
even contemplating suicide because they can't afford their rent next month. Will the Prime Minister finally stop his radical plan of building more bureaucracy instead of more housing? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we invested $900 million in Quebec alone with the Housing Accelerator Fund, and is so well received by Quebecers that the government of Quebec has decided to match that with $900 million of their own.
Castro would have
because
had
they
much
know
different
that
things
will
to say.
deliver housing all across Quebec.
That's
we
true.
stand for working together with the provinces and municipalities to invest more in housing, while meantime the Conservative leader is advocating ideological policies and austerity.
Who is advocating ideological policies? Holy shit. How is lightning not splitting the roof of that house right now?
What they're saying is false.
Jesus
the Honourable Leader of the
Christ.
Opposition. And now he's spending more for fewer houses. It's true that he's spending hundreds of millions, billions, tens of billions. Every year it's a new number, more money for this program or that program. But people don't live by those numbers. They
No.
don't live in those numbers. They live in apartments and houses that cost twice as much as they did when he first took office. So does he now get it?
Facts.
After 9 years of creating the worst real estate crisis in the G7, does he not realize that the more he spends, the more expensive things get? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, people know full well that our investments in housing take years for the effects to be felt.
It's been years. It's been 9 years. How much longer are we supposed to wait?
And while he was housing minister,
Oh, here we go.
under the previous government,
Oh, here we
they
go.
spent virtually nothing on housing for 10 years. They made no investments in housing. And now we're supposed to be surprised that in 2015, 2016, 2017, we started to
You're
see
probably
a housing
right,
crisis.
Sparky.
It's because they underinvested for too long in housing. We are there to invest in communities and help
We are
Canadians
there
out.
to spend all of the
The
money.
Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, I celebrated the fact, not admitted the fact, I celebrated the fact that our programs were much less costly and accomplished much more.
You don't have to spend hand over fist to have a good program. It
was the average rent was $973 a month, and now it's almost $2,000 a month. It used to take 38% on average for monthly bills, and now it's up to almost 64% of a person's income goes to paying the bills. Will he not admit that it's not just because the programs are expensive doesn't mean they're good?
Right. I spared no expense. Yeah, how did Jurassic Park go? They spared no expense for the fucking Jurassic Park. How did that go? Does Canada run a budgetary deficit like America does annually? Right now, yes. When Polyev was the housing minister under the conservative Harper government, there was a surplus. In fact, when Trudeau became prime minister in 2015, he inherited a surplus budget. And he has put us in the red for 9 years running. Right now, we pay more on the interest that we owe than the entire federal government transfers each province for their healthcare costs. Just this year alone, we're going to be spending $54 billion in debt interest.
The Honourable Prime Minister, well, we can see the fundamental choice Canadians will face in the next election. Should the government use Canada's strong fiscal position, the strongest among our allies, should that be put to the service of Canadians to invest in our communities?
It's not being put to the service of Canadians,
or should we
though.
cut programs, cut back to make our fiscal position even stronger, even though it's already the strongest in the G7. He's advocating ideological cuts and austerity instead of helping Canadians with what they need.
And you're advocating ideological money printing.
Let's let
Which one do you
Canadians
think
make
is
the choice.
worse?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Speaker, ever since he started his big spending programs, interest rates have increased. When you double the national debt, that drives interest rates up. Imagine. And everybody can see that that's the result. And that's why Canada has the highest mortgage debt and the highest housing costs in the G7. Will he not follow my common sense plan, dollar for dollar spending and reduction to reduce inflation rates? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, because of our sound fiscal management, inflation is...
Your sound fiscal... that actually came out of his mouth. Holy shit. A stronger fiscal position than our allies when our dollar is 35% of the US. Right? But we have a AAA credit rating and a carbon tax, apparently. Yes.
Is coming down.
Sparky and Pincalo, yes, exactly.
Set by the Bank of Canada, and interest rates will also start coming down in the months to come. We're almost sure of that.
You're almost sure of it. Almost sure. Oh, that's good. You're almost sure. Yeah, exactly, Sparky. Just think gas tax.
And the Leader of the Opposition is mixing two things up. Our very strong fiscal position.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this before I have to go for my appointment.
Families who need more help. I am proposing that we use our strong position to help Canadians, but according to him,
but you're not helping us.
Services to Canadians, and he is wrong.
He is wrong. He's wrong, Mr. Speaker.
L'honorable chef de l'opposition. Oh, excusez-moi.
Yeah, one more.
Sorry. You'll forgive me. You'll forgive me. Sometimes the speaker listens very carefully to the debate and loses his place because he's listening to the substantive arguments which are being put forward by both sides.
Bullshit.
The honourable member from Nunavut.
Last month, the United Nations Special Rapporteur visited Canada. He confirmed what Indigenous peoples already know, that the right to clean drinking water is not being upheld.
Thank you for your donation.
The Prime Minister has millions for the Northwest Company, Loblaws, and Costco, but asked Indigenous people to wait for clean drinking water.
Again, thank you for your donation.
Will the Prime Minister stop fighting these solvable issues and ensure all First Nations have access to clean water?
Hey, hey, Spittle Buggies.
Sparky. Metric system blows. But aircraft Sparky. Why ours is like 17 cents a liter. Button. Aircraft Sparky. Oh yeah, we have that, but ours is only like 5 cents a gallon. Aircraft.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to end boil water advisories across this country. When we took office in 2015, there were 109 long-term boil water advisories. We have now lifted about 135, 140, perhaps even a few more, Mr. Speaker. We were going to 15, there were 109.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to end boil water advisories across this country.
You promised that 9 years ago. And then when somebody from a frickin' reservation that had mercury in the water, which you can't boil out, by the way, showed up to one of your rallies, which you had to pay to get into, by the way, and he tried to ask you about it, you said, "Thank you for your donation," with a fucking smile on your face, you piece of shit.
When we took office in 2015, there were 109 long-term boil water advisories. We have now lifted about 135, 140, perhaps even a few more, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue to lift long-term boil water advisories in ways that are building infrastructure, supporting communities, and solving this generations-long problem. We are here to continue to work with Indigenous communities on solving these problems in true partnership, in building for that long-term future every Canadian and Indigenous people deserve.
The Honourable Member from Nanaimo, Ladysmith.
Mr. Speaker, as the cost of living continues to soar, more people in Nanaimo Ladysmith are barely scraping by. Rent is up, groceries are up, and the number of households living below the poverty line continues to rise. But instead of helping those who need it, the Liberals are handing out $60 billion to the ultra-wealthy. And the Conservatives, well, they will always choose the side of lobbyists and rich CEOs. When will the Prime Minister stop propping up rich CEOs at the expense of those in Nanaimo?
It's only a little mercury that doesn't hurt anyone. Oh wait, never mind. Grassy Narrows. That's it.
I'm a Ladysmith and across Canada.
That was the name of the reservation.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, our latest budget is actually focused on equality for every generation, and a big cornerstone is asking the wealthiest Canadians to pay a little more so we can invest even more in housing, invest even more in pharmacare, invest even more in childcare, invest even more.
None of those things are your fucking jurisdiction. Get fucked. Oh my God.
Programs like a school food program that's going to help 400,000 more kids across this country. We know there continues to be more.
I will not. If that program comes to my kids' school, I am not signing them up for it.
And we are stepping up because not only do we know that helping with affordability for Canadians matters, but confident countries invest in themselves, their people, and their future.
Lifting the advisory doesn't mean they fixed the issue. Good point, Spittlebuggies. Aren't the Indigenous Canadians Canadians too? Why segregate them by mentioning them separately? Because that's how they do it.
Their future.
They keep the Indigenous separate by talking about them like that.
And that's exactly what we're doing.
The Honourable Member from Kitchener South, Hespeler.
Provide free contraceptives to millions of women across
Which is something that public health units do already.
Canada. While access to free contraceptives is fundamental for every woman to plan for their future on their time, the Conservative leader has chosen to deny women this basic freedom.
What the fuck are you talking about? The Conservative leader has never said he would go back on the abortion shit. They're voting against things that are not the jurisdiction of the federal government.
Can the Prime Minister tell this House why a pharmacare program that guarantees free contraceptives is so important?
It's not.
The right honourable
Public
Prime
health
Minister.
units already take care of
The
that.
member for Kitchener South Hespeler for her question. The Conservative leader opposes pharmacare and our plan to provide.
I don't know your schedule. I don't know your schedule. Maybe I should get up with you and have you on as a guest. What's your schedule? Because my schedule, I do the coffee stream from 11 to just after 1. And then I stream Mortal Kombat from like 9:30 at night to like 11-ish. But I can also like schedule off time. Like if you have a stream schedule, I can try to block off some time and pop in as a guest. I'd be absolutely happy to do that, Sparky.
Free contraceptions on prescription to Canadians, and we all know why. That leader and his caucus's ideological objection to reproductive freedom is putting all Canadians at risk.
No, it's not. He's not saying he thinks women shouldn't have access to abortion. He's saying the federal government shouldn't be responsible for providing free contraception. Holy fuck. Haha. 9 p.m. Central. So that's 10. Okay. Oh, thank you, Sparky. We can work something out.
Yesterday, the member for Peace River Westlock sponsored an anti-choice petition.
An anti-choice petition. What was the petition? Was it really anti-choice, or was it, we can't afford to spend billions of dollars making sure that free condoms exist when they already exist at public health units across the fucking country?
There's several private members' bills that would serve as a sneaky backdoor to limit women's
A
bodily
sneaky
autonomy.
backdoor, as opposed to the shit that you've done where you put funding for Ukraine in almost every single bill that you make, and then the Conservatives actually read the bill and then vote against it because it's got a whole bunch of shit that doesn't need to be there in it, and then you're like, see, the Conservatives hate social programs. What?
One would think that someone who claims to stand for freedom would be there for women as well, but he's not.
The honourable leader of the opposition.
If you've got Twitter, DM me on Twitter and we'll figure something out. Or if you have Discord, then like Twitter's probably easier if you have it. Sparky.
After 9 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost. Drugs, crime, and disorder are rampant, and they offer...
Seriously, encourage anal and the condom budget would drop. A sneaky backdoor means anal, right? I want you to look up that member. Which member? Hold on.
For Peace River Westlock sponsored an anti-choice.
Okay, member for Peace River Westlock. MP for Peace River Westlock Private Members Bill. Oh, no. Quote, anti-choice, quote, petition. Okay. Here it is. Let's see. Open. Why won't it let me? It won't. Petition by MP from Peace River Westlock. Let's see if that gives me what I need. Okay, I think this might be it. Oh, here it is. Petition 441. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. Found it. I found it. Okay. Four 4410254 Justice. Paper petition. Original language of petition English. Petition to the House of Commons. We, the undersigned citizens and residents of Canada, draw the attention to the House of Commons to the following. Whereas nearly 100,000 abortions are performed annually in Canada, the Morgan-Tollard decisions to have zero abortion law goes directly against the Charter since it does not protect life. Canada is only one of two, the other nation being North Korea, to have zero abortion laws. Oh! So this is a petition to actually have abortion laws.
You're gonna have it to be continue this. It is 1:55. Pink Hallow, the 28 moderator. I saw a clip of him talking about this. He said something about we need to protect the preborn button. Add emotes.
I saw a clip of him talking about this. He said something about we need to protect the preborn. You have a Twitter? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to continue this. I might try to fire up a to be continued stream in a bit to finish House of Commons and to finish looking up this petition. But I have an appointment in like 20 minutes that I need to get to. So unfortunately, we're going to have to end here. But thank you very much for hanging out with me and watching, and for the biddies and the tips and everything like that. I can't thank you guys enough, and I will try to continue to make this as entertaining as I can. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. Bye, everybody.